Let's be honest, we're all a little unusual, especially when we don't think anyone's watching. But eating ketchup sandwiches and dancing to the infomercials is one thing. The people we're looking at today are in a whole different class of unusual. With the rise of globalization, we're all beginning to look the same, dress the same, and even talk the same. We were delighted that there are still people out there who are a little bit different. The one person you can't see is the invisible man who always stands in front of the subscribe button. He sometimes appears if you click him, but only if you're very lucky. Give it a try. Asha Mandela. There are some mornings when the idea of washing and drying your hair, it all seems a bit much. That's why mankind invented hats. But even the cat in the hat's headgear wouldn't cover Asha's locks, since they run 55 feet in length and weigh a neck-breaking 42 pounds. Luckily, she met her loving husband Emmanuel, who was happy to take care of her precious dreadlocks for her. The happy couple met when Asha was on business in Kenya, and they bonded over their love of hair and Rastafarianism. Nigel Ackland. If you want to see a true science fiction-like arm, look no further than Nigel Ackland. After an industrial accident, Nigel struggled with pain and infection before telling doctors to amputate his arm below the elbow. He then became the first person fitted with an incredible prosthetic called the RSL Steepers V-Bionic 3. The difference between this and the crude hook he was initially using is worlds apart. With the V-Bionic 3, Ackland can cook, use a mouse, and tie his shoelaces. But most importantly, he says that when people stare, now it's with fascination rather than pity. Alex Finch. Before you go thinking, okay, that German kid who can't eat soup must have the strangest body modification. Well, we have another contender. Alex Finch loves the famous Japanese cartoon and game Pokemon. He really loves it. Like, too much. Not content with some posters and a few tattoos, Alex decided to create the look of Pokeballs by getting half-sphere implants under his skin. There's a row of 6 of them on his right forearm, and each one has been tattooed over, completing the 3D image of the implanted balls. Rarity, high. Attack damage, 40. Weakness, making good life choices. Joel Migler. This 23-year-old German man has an unusual appearance, but it's all his own doing. Joel Migler got his first piercing at 13, a plain old vanilla earring. But an obsession was born, and he now holds the world record for the most flesh tunnels in the face. Most notable are the 2 34mm holes at his cheeks that allow you to clearly see his teeth and gums. It starts with a small hole, and then he puts in larger and larger hoops to stretch them out. He has also split the end of his tongue to give it a snake-like appearance. Hong Hong. Baby Hong Hong from Hunan, China is going to have some serious shoe issues of his own after being born with an incredible 31 digits across his hands and feet. Hong Hong's mother also suffers from polydactyl and has a few extra digits on her hands and feet. She was worried she passed on to her children and had several scans during her pregnancy. But doctors didn't spot any issues, so the amount of extra digits he had was a huge surprise. This little piggy went to market, this little piggy stayed at home, this little piggy played Lego, this one watched TV. Actually, those 5 watched TV. You get the idea. Some form of polydactyl is not uncommon. About 1 in 1,000 children have some form of extra digit, although it's often just a little lump and is easily removed. Hong Kong will need surgery when he's old enough to have aesthetic, but it will be expensive. Jason Orlando Rodriguez Hernandez. The only thing longer than Jason's name is his feet. The 21-year-old guy from Maracay in Venezuela stands at 7 foot 3 inches and has feet a whopping 40 centimeters long. That's a size 32 in the US. His growth spurt came on very suddenly at age 10, and in 1 year he went from a size 5.5 to an 11. His mom must have started writing sneakers on the weekly shopping list. Eventually he outgrew regular sizes and would sometimes have to go barefoot. Fortunately, a German shoe specialist got in touch with him and now makes him special pairs. Billy Owens. When Billy was told he had a rare form of cancer in his nasal cavity, the diagnosis was too late to save his eye. And it wasn't just the eyeball. A lot of the muscles and nerve endings had to come out with it. So now when Billy removes a plate at the top of his mouth, he can push his fingers through his mouth and right out his eye socket. You know they say you eat with your eyes? Well, Billy literally could. Unfortunately, he couldn't continue his job as a mechanic for fear of missing some important detail. But he does now get to work as an extra in many zombie films, and happily tells the story at the Venice Beach Freak Show. Abby and Brittany Hensel. About 1 in 200,000 live births are conjoined twins. The survival rate for them is pretty low, with less than 25% making it past the first day. But Abby and Brittany Hensel were born in 1990 and are still living happy, healthy lives. They each have their own vital organs such as a heart and lungs, as well as a spine. But they only have control of 1 leg and 1 arm per girl, so walking and clapping require the ultimate teamwork. And if you want proof that they really are 2 separate people, Brittany got pneumonia twice, while Abby was just 5. God, Brittany, stop huffing. I'm trying to watch Oprah. Carlos Happy Rodriguez. It's often said that we use only 10% of our brains. This is nonsense, but the brain is incredibly adaptable. It can even switch control to different areas if it's damaged. Take our next entry as a perfect example. Carlos Happy Rodriguez was in a stolen car at age 14 with his cousin and a friend. They were all drunk and high, and unsurprisingly, Carlos drove into a pole. He flew through the windshield and went headfirst into the road, which is not the recommended way to land. Although his family was told to expect the worst, doctors miraculously saved him by cutting away a huge chunk of his brain and skull. Jaspreet Singh Kalra. Being double-jointed allows you to do some cool party tricks, whether it's bending your arms backwards or escaping from a straitjacket. We won't ask why you were in the straitjacket in the first place. This Punjabi boy takes bendiness to a whole new level. He can twist his head like an owl, turn his whole upper body 180 degrees, and touch his own toes by bending backwards. Nicknamed Rubber Boy for obvious reasons, the 15-year-old is going after the title of world's most flexible man. If you're out in public and you see someone who doesn't fit the usual mold, don't forget that it's rude to stare. It's much more polite to cut 2 holes in a newspaper and watch them like a spy from a cartoon. We hope you enjoyed watching, and please hit the subscribe button as you head on your way. There's plenty more things you need to see and hear. See you again next time.